Okay.
Oh my God, pardon me. Oh my God. So we can reintroduce you all over again.
Okay, no problem. But you can hear me good now.
Yes, 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 yes. Um, All right, good people. We are live. We are live. I knew I was live on Instagram, but I had forgot to hit live over here on Facebook and YouTube. But hello to everyone. I'm your girlie, Lady Dara here, founder of this wonderful and lovely organization, Walking Them Shoes. I am the empowerment specialist, good people. But guess what? I cannot empower all by myself. So the girl has opened up the stage again to Sister Circle Social Show, and you'll probably see social club down there, but it is definitely social show. It is the show, and is the platform where I allow others to come on and encourage others as well. So today we have Tierra Carter, our sister here, our lovely, wonderful sister, Tierra Carter, the founder of Mothers Fighting from the Grave and co-author of, what is it again? And I have it written right, Breaking the Silence.
Breaking
Actually,
the
two volumes.
volume two.
Volume two. Yes. Okay, good people. So, for those of you who are streaming with us, who are watching, welcome and sit back and let's enjoy as we honor Tierra, but let's enjoy learning more of her and allow her story to be a blessing to us, good people. Okay, Tierra.
So thank you once again for having me on. I greatly appreciate it.
Amen. Amen. Absolutely.
Just a little backstory about me. Um, I'm Tierra Carter, formerly known as Tierra. My mother's name is Michelle. Um, my mother lost her battle to domestic violence in 1995, February 1st, but the night of January 31st. Um, so, just a little backstory. My mother went through a long battle and relationship with my father of domestic violence, from being beaten on, from having her medication taken, um, whatever you can name it, financial abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse. Um, my father was a truck driver, so my mother decided to make a run for it while he was away. My father came home and there was an empty house. We were
Wait,
gone,
I'm sorry. Say that again. Your father came home.
and there was an empty house. We were gone. My mother had made an agreement with my grandfather at the time to move into one of his own two properties at the time. So she moved into his one of his properties that he moved out of, um, and we resided there maybe a week or so. My father caught up with my mother and found out where she was and was in a rage, and he shot and killed my mother. Um, my mother
Sorry.
was 5 years old. She was the very first domestic violence murder of 1995. If you Google her name, you will see Tampa Bay Times articles, news articles about her. She was the very first domestic violence murder of that year.
I saw
Um,
that. Yes.
her birthday was January 19th, and she passed away January 31st.
Mm.
Um,
I'm so sorry for your loss. How old were you at that time?
4 years old.
4 years
4 years.
old. I think when I ran across your platform, I was so taken back because it's like mothers fighting from the grave, and it was like, besides seeing the colors, I kind of figured, I don't know why, I kind of figured that it was domestic violence. And then when I read more of the story, I was just like, wow, like here you are alive. But my one, I wanted to know, for, of course, you had family taking care of you, but as you got older, how did you feel about your father? Because it's one thing to feel, excuse me, feel a way about someone who took someone so near to us, but when it's your father, it doesn't just cut off the love that you have for him. How did that affect your relationship with your father?
Well, for 28 years, I hated my father. Our relationship was really strong because of me not having my mother. Um, but I came to the realization. Um, I mean, I got I got saved and I involved in the church at a very young age. I was saved at the age of 16, so I knew God, and God was calling me to go higher. And so, um, I began the process and started doing work with others. And
Wait,
every
you went out again. I'm sorry.
hello,
Yes.
okay. So, I began to do some work. I thought that I had done all the work that I needed to do. As far as forgiving my father, I said, I forgive him, but I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to have a relationship with him. But that's actually not what God wanted. Um, and so I began to email him and tell him how I felt. Um, and as I began to tell him how I felt, it wasn't more so. I was numerous for the fact
Say
that
say
can
that
you hear?
again.
No,
You
I
said
was.
you tell him how you felt.
Yeah, I began emailing him. My younger sister, we share same fathers but different mothers. She kept saying, email dad, email dad. She had a relationship with my father, but I did not. Um, so it was kind of estranged, but she just kept pushing the issue. And so I began emailing him after she gave me the instructions on how to email and talk with him.
And
And
this
I
was
be
your sister or older sister?
no, she's younger than me. Yeah,
She was
she's
younger
younger.
than you. Now, at this point, your father was doing time, right? Did he turn himself in, or did he run?
He did run, but he ended up turning himself in. I'm not sure if it was later that night or the next morning, but he did end up turning himself in. It wasn't like they had to go on a man hunt for him or anything like that. Um, he pretty much, he he knew that they were looking for him and he went on and turned himself in. But yeah, so I started, emailing him and talking with him, and expressing some of the things that I went through because of not having a father to protect me, not having a mother, to give me guidance and help me along my way, my journey of womanhood. And it was difficult because I have experienced rape, I have experienced molestation. Um, so it was very very traumatizing growing up from the fact of not having my parents.
Yeah.
My grandmother stepped in and she did a wonderful job. She did the best that she could, and she took care of me and my brother. Not only me and my brother, but she took on two other children.
Wow.
Um, and so there were four of us in the home together. My cousins, their father was still living, but my uncle suffered from many illnesses. It was very hard for him to take care of them. So my grandmother took on the responsibility of them, but they also lost their mother at a very young age. Um,
Jesus. Wow,
so
that's a lot. I mean, is your grandmother is still alive, right?
yes, yes,
I just took pictures of her. Okay, I thought, okay, wow, we commend her.
yes,
Yes, thank you. Grandmothers do step in, and thank God she did.
yes, yes. I always tell people I have a saying: grandmas are angels; they're living angels, and we have
Hmm.
to appreciate them while they're here
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
they definitely fill in the gap, definitely step in and put on their big shoes when it's time to. My grandmother was retired at the time that my mother had passed away, and she was just living. working, but not really having to work. She was
Mhm.
working, and she was just enjoying being a grandma. But she had to step in and be our actual mother and father for some years till we turned 18.
And
So
probably you really have to grieve her daughter.
yes, no, she has never had time to grieve her daughter. Um, from the day that my mother passed, we had counseling one time after the trial, and that was it. No one else had contacted us from there. No one reached out. No one said anything. No one gave us resources. Um, and that's just one of those things that I want to stop. Um, as you hear in the news, as you hear in the headlines, it is becoming more prevalent to hear a woman being killed by her boyfriend, by her children's father,
Mhm.
um, by her abuser. And
Yeah,
so I believe that my organization is going to become more prevalent and more needing in society right now. I
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I
yeah,
saw that the organization stands for assisting the families emotionally and, financially, academically, and it's definitely a need. You don't
yes,
find too many organizations like that. So thank you for your service with that.
yes, no problem. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I um had the wonderful opportunity of partnering with Michelle Jewsbury with
Mhm.
Breaking the Silence, Volume 2. It is already number one on Amazon.
It sure
So
is. Yes, yes, yes. Good people.
if
Y'all
I,
definitely have to go out and, well, you don't have to go out, good people. You really just need to log into Amazon and purchase the book, Breaking the Silence. There's volume one and volume two,
right,
right?
yes, yes,
It is. It is definitely a good read. It talks. The founder, her name is, what's her name?
Michelle Jewsbury.
Okay, because I had Michelle, but Michelle is also your mother's name, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes, so you definitely need to check out this book, good people. You can find this book on Instagram, and when I upload and reload and edit everything, I will add a link in there so that way y'all can click this link and check this link out. Check this book out because it gives the stories of people who suffer with domestic violence. Not everyone had lost a parent, but I've read another person's story, a woman who actually was going through the domestic violence herself and
yes,
how for such a long time, and I think it may have been Michelle's story, I'm not sure, but for such a long time, she just really didn't believe that she was abused. And just to give a little bit of my history, when I was 18 and 19 years old, I was in a domestic violent relationship, and the individual who was the abuser was my children's father, someone who I loved dearly at that time. I was very immature. Well, I wouldn't say immature. Let me go through. I was very young and really wasn't mature enough to understand that this was abuse going on. It was me being abused, or I should say, actually, we were abusing one another because we were frightened. And at that time, you just don't really think that it is abuse and that it is happening to you. So sometimes in having these conversations during this month, I've been doing a lot of research and uh, listening to stories of women who did escape their abuser and some who didn't make it out. And I'm telling you, this has weighed so heavily on me. This is my fourth year, but this is my fourth year actually um, researching and doing a lot of things around domestic violence, but this is my third year with my Laps and Laces track and field event. But this year, listening to and reading the stories have been like, I'm telling you, weighing on me like a ton of bricks. It's been a very emotional roller coaster for me because just hearing how some women stay, and how we know a lot of reasons why they stay, you know, and with finances being the number one reason, but a lot of it is just fear of not knowing how to start over, fear of if this individual, if I leave, is this individual going to kill me, or, hurt my children? It's a lot of factors as to why women stay, and I feel that there need to be more resources available to protect women who are going through this. And I believe that if it was, it would make it much more easier. So in my organization, Walking Them Shoes, I love to empower, but I do the empowerment because a lot of times the fear of leaving, the not knowing how, it puts us in a state of mind of, it's too late, I'm too old, or it's no need to start over, I might as well just endure this, and in terms of years ago where our grandparents would have stayed with the verbal abuse and even the physical abuse and maybe even sometimes the sexual abuse. Great grandparents and grandparents stayed because of finances. They stayed because they knew that Johnny was the breadwinner and that they weren't going to be able to go out. But now times have changed drastically where women are able to be the breadwinner. Sometimes women are the breadwinner and their husbands or boyfriends are home, playing house, you know what I mean? Like taking care of the kids, but saying all that to say that we do need more resources in place to help build a confidence in that woman so that she can feel that she's capable and she's able to maintain on her own if she decides to leave that relationship.
Yes.
But your perspective is helping the children who have lost their parents, who have lost their mothers, to domestic violence. And I'm telling you, it is so real that some children are so traumatized. I watched this story on YouTube on one of the crime shows where um, within proximity of one another. This, I forget the area, and I don't even remember because I watched so many. But this one particular lady was being abused by her boyfriend, and they were getting ready to get married, and her children were in the household, and she knew the fear, and this is coming from her daughter's part of the story, that her mother knew that he was getting ready to do something crazy, and what she did was she took off running, and he found her out in the street and he killed her. So it was, she was trying to protect her children, from either seeing it or being a part of it. But eventually, I mean, of course, they were a part of it, but it didn't happen in front of them. You know, so I think the foundation, Mothers Fighting from the Grave, is a great way to give back to the community. You're able to give back because one, you're a survivor, and just be able to share as to the services that you didn't get, such as counseling, the services that weren't provided for you at that time. Now you're able to give of those services or give the information, provide the information to allow people to get those services. And that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. So you want to share a little bit more about what your journey was like in dealing with the loss of your mother? Because at 4 years old, it's like but you don't really understand. So as you got older, how were you able to really understand that? How did you cope with it?
Well, I have to say, a lot of people say, at 4 years old, you really don't understand, but you do. Um,
Mm,
I've, I guess you could say I'm special or I'm anointed, but I've always understood that what my father was doing to my mother was not wrong. Was not. I,
mm,
my father often talks like when we talk, he says, at one point in time, I thought I had to take you to get speech classes because I wouldn't talk to him. I refused to talk to him. And everyone around him would say, "No, she can talk. She talks to me. She won't shut up." But
mm,
I understood exactly what my father was doing. I actually share in my chapter in Breaking the Silence, volume 2. Um, I remember one time my mother scolded me. Um, my father had tried to fight her in front of my aunt at the time, and my aunt stood up for her. And my aunt called the authorities. And while we were sitting there waiting for the police to come, I told my mom, I said, I hate my father. I said, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hope he dies. And my mother scolded me. And she told me, she said, I never, ever, ever want to hear you say that again. And
Mm,
so I remember a lot more than usual than what anyone else would. I mean, now looking at what God has me doing with Mothers Fighting from the Grave, I'm
mm-hmm.
I'm saying to myself now, maybe this is why all my memory was intact. Maybe this
Absolutely.
God gave me the understanding.
I
Um,
believe I believe that wholeheartedly because I have grandchildren who have lost their father to gun violence. And the 4 year old doesn't really remember. I mean, she remembers memories of him. She remembers, but excuse me, a lot of things, excuse me, she hate now. And things come to her, things come back to her. But sometimes there's not, they don't remember. The 4 year olds don't remember as much as, of course, the 8 year olds or the 10 year olds. So
mhm,
yes, I would say that because, and that just goes to show in Jeremiah 1:11, God has a plan for us. It seems very disheartening that it would be in God's plan for you to lose your mother at such a young age and in such the way that she did die. Um, Look at God and how all things work together for the good for those who love the Lord. He's using you as that vessel to be able to give back to more children, you know.
yeah,
So wow, that's amazing, that your mother would, still, in a sense, she's protecting the abuser, but
mhm,
at the same time, that your father still wanted you to have that love for him. Yeah. Now, still incarcerated?
I'm sorry.
Still incarcerated?
Yes, yes. He has a life sentence without parole.
Hmm.
Yes. So now he's been incarcerated for 30 years now.
Okay. Okay. But you visit him?
Yes. I visit him, email him. We
Yeah.
talk on.
Okay. Say that again. You said you visit him?
No, I said I visit him. We talk on the phone. We have email communication.
Okay. Wow. That is really, really brave. That's a strong, strong person can only do that. Like a really forgiving person, and I can see the anointing on your life and how we spoke and talked about, abuse and why do women go back, and for us it's easy. One of the things I do want to ask you too, knowing what your mother endured and knowing what your father, brought upon you and your family. And when you decided to start dating, did you have up a wall? Like, were there barriers that were set in place for you? You know,
Oh yeah, the first thing that came out of my mouth is if you put your hands on me, it is over, it is done. And I was I was a fireball. I'm still and I still am. I'm not a pushover. I'm not someone that you can just do anything to or say anything to. I'm gonna fight back.
I
so,
understand that.
um, so yes, I didn't really have it, like go through it really too much at a younger age. Um, as I got older, I did experience verbal abuse, but not too much physical. Um, but yeah, I don't play. I let them know. I tell them, hey, listen, I keep my hands to myself. You keep your hands to yourself. And
Amen.
I believe your mom didn't put you here for me to, hammer on you. And I'm not here for you to hammer on me. And I mean, I'm okay with, us talking or arguing, but let's just not, let's
Not
not go.
give exactly, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So tell us just a little bit more and about your organization. What are your plans coming up for the 2025 new year? Are there anything that, is there anything that, maybe the community can help in any way? Tell us what your plans are, your goals are, for your organization.
In 2025, my plans are to revamp the audience, to revamp the brand of Mothers from the Grave, um, just to try to get more engagement and more people of the public to get in and just help out. Um, I want active board members. I have board members, but I don't have knowledgeable board members. I need more help, um, more people to help me get it out there, to make more awareness to the issue, get more sponsors, and
Mhm.
also to apply for more grants, so that I can really get out and get in motion with the organization. Um, I need more people to open up. There's children out there that need this assistance, that need help, and it's not too many people that are, how can I say, friendly to open up and let's
Mhm.
get that they need. They kind of just want to keep it within the family. Oh, no, we have family, and I understand that, but it also takes a village to raise a child. And I believe that if there were more people in the public, um, to help my grandmother. I mean, my grandmother was, you know, she wasn't completely elderly, but she had raised her children. So she wasn't so much active far as getting us involved in outside activities to keep us, engaged and out of the negative the negative things that come from the outside world. So I want to get active and get involved with that. I want more people to start opening up about it. I want more children to start opening up about it. Start
So
speaking about how you feel.
when you say you want more people to start opening up about it, do you're speaking in terms of the children, but are you also speaking in terms of the caregivers? You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
okay.
I want the
So
characters to stop being so strong. I
okay.
get- I
So you
understand.
have to target you would have to focus on a strategy to target. So we know that his mother's fighting from the grave, and our goal is to help the children, but then you would need to focus on a strategy to reach the caregivers. It's
Yes.
not taking your mind off of the children, because
Mhm.
ultimately they're going to ones to receive the benefit of it. But
Yes.
if you can, strategize, and form a way to make your audience be the caregivers, even down to social services. Maybe you can look into a way with partnering with social services too, because that would be a great way, to target, maybe do, after school workshops or programs and things of that nature, to be able to, you know, put yourself in a position to reach them. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? Yeah.
Yes.
And yes, apply for, I just recently formed a relationship with a banker for mothers in business. Now, I don't know if it is just for the center, I mean, not Center City. Well, it is in Center City, but I don't know if it's for the Philadelphia area only. I am to meet with them on Tuesday. And when I do, I'll be able to share, I know where you're located. So I'll definitely be able to share that, you're looking for resources. And again, there's so much money on the table, especially when it's for children.
Mhm.
You just have to really apply, get those grants written, get a grant writer and get them to write out what you need, and just start applying. Applying. A lot of times, even now with myself and my organization, I fund this out of my pocket. So we love it. We're passionate about what we're doing, but we can also use, the extra. And it's not even really the extra, but we can also use the assistance. That's what it is. We can use the assistance, and that assistance sometimes mean financially, because it will allow us to be able to reach more people. So I commend you for all that you're doing. I do have one other question for you though. At what point, when did you know I want to do something for other children? Like, what sparked you? Like, when did you get that feeling? Were you younger and was like, okay, this is something I'm going to work at when I get older? Or did it like hit you, like when you were in your 20s or something like that? When did that hit you?
It actually happened after I began to forgive my father and I started working on our relationship. Um, I just was talking to the Lord and I was just telling God, like, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do? And He gave me Mothers Fighting from the Grave. At first, I was going to name the organization after my mom. But then I say no. I said no. I need to consult the Holy Spirit to see where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? Because I'm lost. Like I get what you're telling me to do, and
Mm,
I'm a smart cookie. I mean, I'm not. It's not too many things that I can get my hands on and not really master it or get
mm,
down. To how to do it.
okay.
But I said, God, what do you want me to do? And so He kept ringing her initials in my head. Her initials are MFG, Michelle Felicia Gatson. And so I'm like, okay, alrighty, you gave me MFG. What is that?
Mothers fighting from the grave.
And
Oh,
like,
wow.
so I'm sitting down and I'm scribing and I'm talking to God and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? Like, what? And I'm like, okay, she was a mother. And I'm like, okay, she's, you know, I'm like crying out from the grave. Like, and he
Mm,
just kept giving me, and he said, Mothers Fighting from the Grave. And I said,
mm,
whoa, like, wow. And so I'm just like sitting there, and the Holy Spirit is just talking to me, like, because a mother never stops fighting,
that's
even
right.
beyond the grave. Because even when a mother leaves here, her prayers are still roaming the earth. That's why he tells us to speak. Because when we speak, our words are released into the atmosphere and they have to perform exactly what we say. When he said, Let there be light, he spoke that, and the light
Amen.
was there. And
Mm,
so even though, we speak our words and they may not manifest right then, but it does not mean that it will not manifest later. As long as we leave it in the earth and we speak it while we're here in the earth, and because we have power over the angels and over dominion over the earth,
mm,
our words are still here. They're still going. I'm pretty sure my mother left many prayers for me and my brother to protect us, to keep us, and we are protected. We are kept. So that's what I
mm,
got at when God gave it to me. That's how He explained it to me, and I said, "Oh
mhm. Wow.
God, we
Well, you're doing an amazing job with it. I had a chance to view. You want to tell the people where they can find you at? Because I was able to view some of your photos and, looked at some of the events that, you did and created for the children. Um, I just think that when, people are forming organizations and businesses and companies all the time, but I think that when it's scriptural based, are you still there, Tierra, or did I lose you? You here? Okay. But I think when our organizations are formed, when God give us the vision, that's the part. When he give us the vision, it's like, okay, with my organization, he gave me the vision. My former bishop spoke the word in my life, but I ran with it the way that I thought it was supposed to be. And God's like, no, daughter, that's that wasn't the plan. So I had to restructure it. I had to revise everything, and just going forward, with your vision, with your purpose, consult God with everything, and he will allow it to flourish and reach the targeted people that it needs to target. Even when, you're fighting for the children, you're protecting these children, you want to provide resources and services for these children, but he's going to make sure that it gets in front of the right people.
right." Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at MFG Hope. Is M as in Mary, F as in Frank, G as in George on Instagram.
Wait, you
Um,
faded out one more time.
MFG Hope on.
Mhm.
And also, my personal page, if you can't find MFG Hope, you can always find my personal page, which is Mrs. Carter 2022. Uh, and I tag a lot of things from my organization page. So you should be able to find from there as well. Feel free to inbox me on Instagram in regards to involvement. If you want to become involved with the organization, you want to help out, you know anything or any resources that help build the organization, you reached.
Okay, let me see if I understand that correctly because you were going in and out at Instagram at M as in Mary, F as in Frank, and I actually have it here G Hope at. I
Yes.
mean, well, no, Hope that's on Instagram, but it's
Mhm.
also mfghope.com for your website too, right?
Yes, my website is down for right now, but my
Okay.
Instagram is up. I have not replenished. I need to revamp the website. There's a lot of new stuff that I need to put up there and do. So I do not have the website right now, but the Instagram is there.
Okay. All right. So I have that scrolling across the bottom. Instagram at MFG Hope or at Tierra Carter. And good people, listen, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. This was a very encouraging and insightful video. Learned a lot about, yes, Mrs. Tierra Carter, but we also learned about what children go through when they lose their parent to domestic violence. So for those of you who are out there who may currently be in a domestic violence situation, relationship, think of your children. Yes, think of yourself, but also think of your children and the profound effect that it will have on them, the damaging effect that it could have on them if you were to lose your life in that domestic violent relationship. Domestic violence of people is such a grave disease. It is such a horrible relationship characteristic. When people are in these relationships, it can really get violent. It can really get violent. So in my book War, of course, oh, I was going to say, of course, I didn't bring it out here with me, but my book War, it's a journal. It is to help women who are in these type of relationships. It is to help you even if you escaped from a domestic violent relationship. It is a soft cover, paperback cover, as well as a hard cover, but it is a journal, and it is War. Woman achieve remarkably. I always do this incorrectly, but Woman achieve remarkably. It is an inspiring journal to help you feel empowered to get that woman in the position and mindset of thinking more of herself, to getting to a healthy place so that she can be in a safe place for herself as well as her children. You can find my books on my website or also on Amazon, amazon.com. It is your girl leading Lady Dara here with the lovely Tierra Carter, founder of Mothers Fighting from the Grave, also co-author of, I always forget this, Breaking the Silence. And I don't know why I keep forgetting it, Breaking the Silence, good people. And this is why we showed up today, because we want to help those break the silence. We want you to speak up. We want you to get past the unhealthy relationship. Would you share any last words with the audience, Tiara?
No,
Beautiful. I
I
love
just
that.
let you all know this is the logo.
Yes, it's beautiful.
And so
Beautiful.
when you see this logo, that is my Instagram.
Hmm.
So yes. But feel free
Mothers
to follow
from
me and definitely chime in and help out. Tell me, give me some insights, you all. I'm trying to get it out there and I definitely want to help these children and these caregivers. So
Mhm.
if you have any insight, don't hesitate. I am open to learn and open to receive. Definitely reach out.
Amen. Stay connected to your source, Tierra. You're doing a wonderful and amazing job. And your mission is truly, definitely needed in this world. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing the story with us. And I'll talk with you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
You take care.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.